Violence and anger as Protea Glen residents protest over land invasions near their homes. 8 people dead after a shack fire in Khayelitsha, with 1 person taken in for questioning. And in your sports Minister Khayelitsha is satisfied with the transformation progress of most sporting codes. Good evening, this is eNews. I'm Gareth Edwards. Our top story: land invasion protests erupted in Protea Glen today. Homeowners blocked a major road with rocks and burning tyres, resulting in police retaliating with rubber bullets. Several people were injured. Reporter Malongela Boy has the story.
From early morning, Protea Glen homeowners took their frustration to the streets, burning tyres, preventing motorists from using their R559. They say they are frustrated by both the city of Johannesburg and Gauteng government for their tardiness in dealing with land invasions near their homes. Last week, there were 3 attempted land grabs here. Residents say taking to the streets to get the attention of authorities is the only option.
We have plans for that land. That land we will build RDP houses. We don't want shacks. If there will be shacks there, they will need service delivery, whereby they will need electricity, they will need water, they will also need sanitation as well that side. So it will cost us. People who are paying bonds. We're paying bonds and they just want to take land. So our values of the houses will drop eventually.
A few hours into their protest, an official from the city of Johannesburg arrived to address them, but was told to go back. Residents demanded to be addressed by their Mayor Herman Mashaba or Human Settlements MEC Dikgang Moinlo.
We want a security company that will safeguard that piece of land so that we don't find ourselves in the morning shacks have been erected, because then there'll be a confrontation between us and the shack erectors. Then that becomes blacks on blacks, and we don't want confrontation.
A few hours later, there was this. As residents refused to move from the road. Community leaders say at least 6 people were injured, while their local councillor says they are going to court over the land issue. Malungelo Boy, Protea Glen, Soweto.
Well, 8 people, including 5 children, have died in a fire at the Taiwan informal settlement in Khayelitsha. 4 shacks have been completely gutted, leaving 22 people homeless. Ati Umtungana visited the community.
The remains of a family home. 8 members of the Bangani family died after succumbing to severe burn injuries. 2 managed to escape and explain how the fire started.
Ingxabano kuqala ukuze kwenzeke lento yomlilo. Uthathu wethu lo kuthiwa uNontombi Bangani ebexabana nomnye umfana okuthiwa nguGqayuqa lapha umakhelwane. Khange iphele ne 15 minutes. La mfana wana uye waxabela umama ngepanga. Umama lo nizalayo. Kawuphele 15 minutes ajo yaphela lonto leyo. Wabegqobweni betha nami nomfana le empty lakhe lunjonga yapha le ndawo leni. Kawuphele nalo 20 minutes. Uthathu wethu waphinde washiyana ke ngoku nomnye usisi ke ngoku kwayena uhlala kwalapha ekuhlaleni. So yonke into yomlilo ngoyizoqhubeka emveni kwalami.
Ndive ngento endirhathayo apha empumlweni. Xa ndiyiva ayinuki eziba ayinuki ngendlela erayithi iyandivala umphefumlo. Xa ndiphakama bajonga ngasekitchen ngumlilo ugcwele indlu yonke ikitchen sekumnyama kuyavutha.
The family was visited by the Western Cape MEC for Human Settlements, Bonginkosi Madikizela, as well as ANC provincial leaders.
It really gives a government a wake-up call that we need to speed up on issues of development. I mean, this area of Taiwan has been here for quite some time, and as you can see for yourself, the issues of basic services, it's really needed in this area. We are told that there are 2 members who are left behind.
1 person has been taken in for questioning by police.
Authorities say they'll try to provide assistance to the remaining family members who lost their loved ones in this devastating shack fire. Ati Umtungana, Cape Town.
Well, the Gauteng Social Development Department wants to see charges against the father of a 2-month-old toddler who was raped in 2016. The department made the announcement at a press conference where the father was also identified as the baby's alleged rapist. Michael Apple has the story.
Gauteng Social Development MEC Nandi Mayatula Khoza says her department wants justice for little baby M, the 2-month-old toddler who was brutally raped in November 2016. The baby's mother was sentenced to life behind bars last month for protecting the rapist and defeating the ends of justice. The department wants, at the very least, the same charges to be brought against the father. But the National Prosecuting Authority declined to prosecute the father for lack of any evidence. Despite this, the department has named the father as baby M's alleged rapist. The MEC, however, had this to say.
People remain innocent until proven guilty, but we can't do nothing about it. We can't do nothing about it. So this is what we are saying. We want justice for the child to be served.
The NPA in Gauteng says the Social Development Department's comments are unfortunate. It says it did not and does not have enough evidence to prosecute anyone for the toddler's rape. Michael Apple, Johannesburg.
An inquiry into Bathabile Dlamini, ordered by the Constitutional Court, has now been concluded. Retired Judge Bernard Nhwepe has released the findings of his probe into the former Social Development Minister. The judge is highly critical of Dlamini's testimony, saying she evaded some questions and even avoided answering others altogether. She also answered some questions with other questions. In August, the Constitutional Court called for the inquiry, which then took place in January. It followed the South African Social Security Agency's failure to meet a court deadline over social grant payments. Well, Northwest Premier Supra Mogamapelo has refused to answer questions about when he'll be stepping down. Protesters have been calling for him to resign amid corruption allegations.
As those questions to the officials of the ANC, I'm not going to respond to them. But I do meet, remember we are provincial chairpersons and we are premiers, so we should on a regular basis be meeting with the President of the Republic. But has he asked I'm also a chairperson of the ANC, so there should be nothing untoward in me having a meeting with President Ramaphosa. And I don't know, because I meet him on a regular basis, why people specifically are interested in this particular meeting. As to matters you are insinuating about, or the National Working Committee and so on, I'm never mandated to speak on behalf of the National Working Committee, and I will not attempt now and in the future. I've not done so in the past. If you want more clarity, I think speak to the Office of the Secretary General.
Well, Mogamapelo says reporting the alleged death threats against him were not on his orders. He says threats come with the territory.
I did not even myself go to the police station to open the case. It's not me. It is the security people who are working in government but in the Premier's office. It's not me who even opened that particular case. So they are doing their work. And I know that people will try and change the narrative, because Supra Mogamapelo must be projected in a particular way. As I say, as a leader, I must accept that there will be people who will do concoctions, others will do manipulations, others will do machinations, and so on. The most important thing is to focus on my job.
Well, to other news, a Gupta family member charged with corruption over the Estina dairy project wants to leave the country. Varun Gupta, nephew to the politically connected Gupta brothers, wants to fly to India. The businessman vows he will return to South Africa after attending a religious pilgrimage. Reporter Erin Bates has more.
Varun Gupta and 7 others face charges including corruption, fraud and theft. They were charged in connection with the Estina dairy project in February. Since then, they've been out on bail. They're due in court in August. In the meantime, the nephew of the politically connected Gupta brothers wants the court to relax his bail conditions. They include telling the investigating officer of any plans to travel 6 weeks in advance. Since Thursday, Gupta has been in this court seeking a concession to go to India on Saturday. The businessman says he and his family have booked and paid for a pilgrimage to a temple in New Delhi, India. His lawyer, Advocate Mike Helens, claims the state has a poor case against him. Helens argues his client is not going to run away from a weak case. He's highlighted mistakes in state evidence, including details on Gupta's marital status. Papers from Home Affairs indicate he is neither married nor has children. However, he is married and has children. The state argues the pilgrimage is not urgent. It has also resisted Gupta's request for the docket in the Estina case, saying the investigation is ongoing. The National Prosecuting Authority is opposing Gupta's request to travel. The magistrate is set to rule on the matter on Friday. Erin Bates, Johannesburg.
Well, time for a short break. When eNews returns, the bus strike continues despite employers upping their offer to 8.75%. Details in a moment. Welcome back. Bus company employers will meet tomorrow to discuss a new proposal to end the crippling strike. The Bargaining Council has suggested an increase of 8.75% for the first year and then 8.25% for the second year. But employers are yet to confirm this new offer. Setawu is considering the new proposal by the Bargaining Council.
Talks have broken down consistently ever since for the last while. Well, since the strike began, we would get into a room and the talks would break down. So on Thursday, it really looked hopeless. But then by this weekend, when we received this offer, which came from the Bargaining Council and the CCMA, then it's something to look at least we move forward again. But because it just was looking, we were thinking of ways of intensifying the strike, rolling out mass action. So now it gives us something to look at. We'll take it back to our members starting today and see what they have to say about it. So in the meantime, those sticky issues that we've been talking about, the dual driver, the night shift hours, and the insourcing of some workers into the Bargaining Council, those will be taken to a THIS team under the auspices of the CCMA so that it actually delivers on its mandate and doesn't just become a talk shop.
Well, e-hailing taxi drivers are calling for urgent improvements to driver safety features built into ride-hailing apps. It follows the death of another taxified driver. Moyopalai Sekati has become the latest victim when his body was found with bullet wounds. Linda Kuklek-Ulu has more.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm out. No more. No taxify. No taxify, no Uber, no Maxi taxi. I'm fine with them.
Last week, taxified driver Moyopalai Sekati's car was found torched in a veld in Doronkop, Soweto. His body was later discovered in a nearby veld after police received a tip-off. His employer says she regrets introducing him to the e-hailing business.
Had I known that, because someone said to me, maybe he was scared that if he says to you, they threatened me, they approached me, I would have said to him, stop it. So that's why he always said to me, things are fine. But now I regret why I didn't stop at that time when he told me that they took his cell phone. And it wasn't taken by anybody but the clients that were in the car.
Sekati's death comes after 21-year-old Siyabonga Ngcobo, also a taxified driver, was burnt alive in the boot of his vehicle 2 months ago. After Ngcobo's death, Taxify announced the launch of a driver safety feature which would integrate a driver SOS button into the app, but that update hasn't started working. Taxify drivers say the majority of dangerous incidents are related to cash-paying trips. They want management to provide a cash trip indicator as well as positive identification of requesters. Lindokuhle Xulu, Soweto.
Take a look at international news and to Russia now, where Vladimir Putin has been sworn in as president for a fourth time. He's served in government since 2000. The country held presidential polls back in March. He emerged with a 76.7% of the vote. His main opponent, Alexei Navalny, has been barred from running in the elections. On Saturday, Navalny and his supporters were detained while protesting against Putin's new term. The Russian constitution bars Putin from running again when his now term ends in 2024. Well, as a reminder of your main stories tonight on eNews. Violence and anger as Protea Glen residents protest over land invasions right near their homes. 8 people have died after a shack fire in Khayelitsha, with one person taken in for questioning.
Welcome to the Weather Center. Once again, we had cloud-free skies throughout Monday across much of South Africa, but over the western areas, we saw quite a bit of cloud creeping into the western areas of the Western and Northern Cape, giving us isolated rain and thundershowers in places. And that's ahead of this cold front, which is yet to hit our shores later on tonight. So we get into Tuesday with this cold front introducing early morning rainfall into the western areas of the Western and Northern Cape, and also pushing in quite a lot of cloud into the western areas of the Northern Cape. In the afternoon, things are going to dry out for the western parts of the country, but it's going to be cool to cold in most areas. On the other hand, sunny and warm to hot weather continues for the rest of South Africa. And towards the evening, we could see quite a bit of cloud creeping into parts of the Eastern Cape coastal areas. So it's going to be mostly sunny and warm for the part of the Northern Cape, but much cooler for the western sections where light rain can be expected in the morning. It's going to be cloud and rainy for the first half of your Tuesday over the western areas of the Western Cape, Cape Town, Langaban and Hermanus, all peaking at just around 18 degrees. It's going to be mostly sunny for the Eastern Cape, with top temperatures staying in the upper 20s and lower 30s on Tuesday afternoon. A sunny and warm to hot day is forecast across much of KwaZulu-Natal. We are also going to see clear skies across much of Mpumalanga, Mbombela, warming to around 27 degrees. We could see a bit of cloud in places across the Limpopo province, 26 for the high in Polokwane. It's going to be fine across the northwest, with temperatures peaking at around 26 degrees for Mahikeng. We are expecting clear skies as well over the Free State. High of 26 is forecast for Bloemfontein. Gauteng is also going to stay cloud-free, with Pretoria making it to 26 degrees on Tuesday afternoon. Now on Wednesday, we could continue to see a bit of rain in the morning for Cape Town. Light rain is also forecast for parts of KwaZulu-Natal. Then on Thursday, it's going to be partly cloudy for Western South Africa, with light rain in KwaZulu-Natal.
And finally, the 9th year Western Cape Golden Games has once again brought together senior citizens from across the province. Participants 65 and older put their best feet forward as they took on tailor-made athletics events. Peladi Satusa was there.
Age in action was the catchphrase of the day as pensioners in the Western Cape took on track and field events. The Golden Games has unique events like brisk walking, ring the stick and passing the ball. Coaches say training their athletes was tough.
Is baie swaar van party is siek voordat hulle begin. Baie se bene styf en omdat hulle nêrens kan gaan nie, as hulle so styf en jy moet sukkel om vir hulle oefeningkies te gee met die bene en die arms.
The elderly athletes look forward to the annual event.
Siyabaleka, senzi basketball, senzi ring stop, bathene golf amaxhego wethu. Kumandi namhlanje.
But there's a lot of stress in the community. Older people nowadays look after the grandchildren. If they participate, it will get their stress off.
Top 3 finishers in each category now stand the chance to compete at the National Golden Games in Johannesburg later this year. Peladi Satusa, PAL in the Western Cape.
Certainly doing a better job than I ever could. A reminder of your top stories. Violence and anger as Protea Glen residents protest over land invasions near their homes. 8 people have died after a shack fire in Khayelitsha, with one person taken in for questioning. And in your sports news, the Sports Minister, Thokozile Knasa, is satisfied with the transformation progress of most sporting codes. That's eNews at 8. Good night from the team.